All right, I'm gonna play this really quickly.
Joy, pain. Come on, here we go. Sunshine. What else? Rain. Oh yeah, here we go. Joy, come on, here we go. Pain. Pump it up. Sunshine, yeah, and rain. Get to robbing.
So, if you're over the age of 40, um, and just tuning in, you just listened to a little bit of Rob Bass, just for fun. Why don't we do it again? Hold on. Let's see if I can get there. Hold on.
Oh, here we go. Pain. Pump it up. Sunshine, yeah, and rain. Get to robbing. Well, I'm the new.
Yeah. So this is the stuff that happens in my brain on Tuesday mornings. I feel like it's really dark in here. Should I turn on the light now? We'll be fine. So if you're over the age of 40, you may have heard of Rob Bass, who sings the song Joy and Pain, Pump It Up, Sunshine and Rain. This is the stuff, literally, guys, this is the stuff that like goes on in my head. That song, that 30 years old, will pop in my brain. And so this morning, as I was meditating, Rob Bass showed up and started singing Joy and Pain. And I just thought, wouldn't it be fun to share it with you all? If you're coming in and watching the live this morning and hanging out with me for morning huddles with Dora, please come in and say hi and share with me how your Tuesday morning is going, and if any songs popped up in your head, what they were. I'm sure it wasn't Rob Bass like it is with me. Why is my hair like I'm a mess this morning? So why did I start it with Joy and Pain this morning, huh, Dora? Why did I do that? I'm gonna actually go in and make sure I can see comments. So give me 1 second. Okay. um, yeah, I started it because that's like the story of my life. The story of my life is this bittersweet parallel of witnessing a lot of joy and witnessing a lot of pain, um, sometimes at the same time. And so I wanted to talk a little bit this morning as a group about a little bit about yesterday's Women's Giving, where I showcased Paula, who is the founder of Serene Wellness, and she is a healer that does a lot of different healing modalities. I don't have my necklace on, guys, and I usually always play with it. So, Paula was on yesterday, and we talked a lot about healing. And one of the things that came up as we were talking was how much joy you find when you heal. I may have to just find my necklace later. So, like the overall arch of healing is joy. So that's why I was like, with pain comes joy, and without pain, you may not be able to witness the level of joy that you really want to have. So how is that relevant to your everyday and to your business? So let's talk about that a little bit. So when I work with clients that are not living their purpose yet and not doing what they've been called to do and not monetizing that quite yet, then we look at two columns, and those two columns, the one column is called the feed me column, and the other column is called the abundance column. So if you're fortunate enough to already be like doing what you love and monetizing that, whatever that may be, then you're living in the abundance column, and we're forever working on the joys and pains of going through starting and scaling and growing your business that you love to your highest earnings potential, with a goal of exponential success where you really want to be. But if you haven't figured that out yet, or you're playing with it, then you are living in both columns. You are living in both columns, which is the feed me column and the abundance column. So why do we have both? We have both because we have to feed ourselves. So and we don't want to be going into what we love to do with a money scarcity mindset. So if we just only focus on abundance, but we aren't feeding ourselves, we have a hard time really focusing on abundance. So the feed me column, a lot of times the feed me column is your job, like what you're doing right now if you haven't started working on the abundance column, or it is like what you're selling, the offer that you're selling right now that is giving you income, but you don't have a lot of passion behind it. So what will happen when you are working both of these columns is that you'll want to spend a lot more time on abundance, but it's not yielding income yet. And then your feed me, you don't want to spend as much time on because it doesn't bring you as much joy, but it's actually what is feeding you right now. The great thing about having these two columns, knowing what's in your feed me column and knowing what's in your abundance column, the great thing is if you're in that situation where you don't quite know abundance and you're working on feed me, the great thing is to know that you have options. So the options are that you don't have to live in the feed me column, which is great. You don't have to live there. And the other great news is that you can literally work on both at the same time. So you can work on abundance and you can bring in money on your feed me at the same time. So what does that mean, Dora? How do I do that? So how you manage feed me and abundance is with really thought through time management. So if you don't have time management in your life, now is the time to get time management in your life because the goal is to live in the abundance column. So let's give you an actual example of what that looks like. I'll actually give you the example of a conversation I had yesterday. So, a conversation I had yesterday is a lovely woman is living in both columns and doesn't know that she is, right? So we don't know that. And so she's living in both columns, and her feed me column is something that she doesn't really want to do, which is something she's good at, but it's not really, she's not passionate. It's actually like really something she doesn't want to do. And so it's two offers that she's offering. And it's, feeding her, right? But it's not something that she loves. And then she has this idea in abundance, but she hasn't worked or looked at the idea in abundance at all because she doesn't want to get excited about it and start working on it until she can feed herself. So when we talked yesterday, the more she designates specific time to each, so understanding time blocking and time managing of what she needs to be spending on abundance, and then time blocking and time managing what she needs to be spending on feed me, is actually going to allow her more time to be creative and actually to even go out and start getting clients under abundance. So that's what we talked about yesterday. Is we want to spend time doing what we love. Because when we spend time doing what we don't like to do at all, our mental health is really affected by that. We can actually end up getting sick if we're spending all of this time. I know I have. Like when I'm doing when I'm in corporate for 17 years in this high pressure job, I end up with serious mental health issues. Like, that's where we go. So, yes, we have to feed ourselves. But if we're spending all of our time with dread and with it's like literally painful, we aren't going to experience joy. So, and knowing that we can't always experience joy quite yet because we can't live in the abundance until we can monetize completely the abundance column. That's why there's like that joy and pain when it comes to your business. Comes to really anything. Like yesterday, it was talking all about healing. Today, I wanted to bring in the business aspect of it. So morning huddle this morning is know that with joy comes pain in your business too. That if you're not living your purpose yet, there are two columns for you to be looking at. One is the feed me column, one is the abundance column. What is really going to bring you joy that you can monetize? If you haven't figured that out yet, that's so much fun for me to figure out with you. If you have figured it out, then how are you going to really grow and scale that? I love doing that too. And then the feed me is like that serves its purpose, but let's just allow it to serve its purpose and not spend all of our time there. The purpose that it's serving is for you to be able to get out of this scarcity money mindset that you might be living in. So it's stopping you, it's paralyzing you from working on abundance. Hope this was helpful today and hope you guys all enjoyed it. And until next time, you guys have a great day. Bye.